Welcome everyone, welcome to the coolest tech show on the planet and outside and inside, ZONEofTECH News. So this is the series in which I talk about all the main tech news stories that happened over the past week, stuff that I don't really get to talk about in the regular videos because those videos are focused on just a single product. And we're trying our best to do the series as often as possible. Releases are always prioritized, reason why we didn't do one last week, but yeah, here we are with the second ZONEofTECH News for 2019, covering Google's streaming service, Xbox 2 leaks actually, an upcoming Samsung event, once again, Huawei lawsuit, and so much more. Also, in case you missed yesterday's video, the AirPods one, 20 things you don't know about the second generation AirPods. We're actually doing a giveaway of the AirPods 2 and also the Samsung Galaxy Buds. That one is still going. If you want to enter either of those, just be a subscriber of the channel, ZONEofTECH, and then follow on Instagram at ZONEofTECH. And leave a comment on this post for the Samsung Galaxy Buds and this one for the AirPods 2 saying why would you want to win them. And I'll be announcing the winner for the Galaxy Buds on April the 1st. Not a joke, honestly. And for the AirPods 2 on April the 23rd. But yeah, for now, this is everything interesting that happened over the past week. Okay, so the first one is the most exciting one. Google killed the consoles, pretty much. So there was a Google event this week and they introduced Stadia. So what is Stadia? Well, it's a streaming service, but wait, this is different. This is nothing like OnLive, if you guys remember that, or even PlayStation Now. Those are also streaming service, but there's quite a few key differences between those and Google Stadia. So you know how you have Netflix, a streaming service for movies. There's nothing for games at the moment, and that's because games require a significant amount of, power to process, and that's why we have those boxes. We have the PlayStation, we have the Xbox, we have the Nintendo, but power and Nintendo, they don't really go well together. And this is the dream for basically gamers and everyone, having a streaming service that works as well as Netflix does, but for games, being able to play any game on any device you have. And like I said, this is what OnLive tried a few years ago, but they failed because the internet connection wasn't there. This is what PlayStation tried, Sony, and they still have the PlayStation Now service for playing PS3 games, PS2 games, even some PS1 games on your PS4, so you can do that. But obviously it's, the latency isn't that great, and Google Stadia, like I said before, is quite impressive. So it's impressive because developers can actually make their own Stadia games. So it's pretty much like a cloud console rather than a streaming service. Yeah, some of the games can be ported to Stadia, but most games would be new, developed with Stadia in mind. So let's talk about the performance. So Stadia allows you access to a virtual console that has 10.7 teraflops of GPU compute power. Now the Xbox One X, which at the moment is the most powerful console on the market, can do 4K 60, true 4K 60 games in HDR. It's pretty impressive. It has 6 teraflops of compute power. And the PS4 Pro has 4.2. So there you go. The new Google Stadia is pretty much twice as powerful, almost twice as the Xbox One X is. And this is also HBM2 memory. Reason why I think that this is, obviously it's an AMD card, and I think it's a Vega 56. It has 16 gigabytes of HBM2 memory, and I think it's the 56 one, just because Crytek, who's the maker of the CryEngine, Crysis, Far Cry, the Far Cry series, they actually demoed their new CryEngine, and they actually demoed real-time ray tracing using an AMD card, a Vega 56. Which is interesting because, NVIDIA has hardware built in for that, and they've actually done it to software. And apparently it's actually possible to do real-time ray tracing with AMD cards, such as the Vega 56. So yeah, maybe it's a coincidence that they showed this on the Vega 56, but I don't really think it is. So I think Google's working with CryEngine and Crytek actually as a company to develop Stadia. And something really cool about Stadia is that every game loads in about 5 seconds. So when you launch a game, everything is based on SSD cloud storage. Everything is solid state. So games would load in about 5 seconds. And what's even better is that developers can actually have access to petabytes of data storage, which means that, you're not restricted to those 50 gigabytes that Blu-ray discs offer. You can, have assets, game assets of hundreds of gigabytes or even petabytes in size, which is insane. And what's really cool is that if developers need more power and more storage, they can actually request that. So everything is scalable. Yeah, but the games will be, 1080p 30. Well, not really. It depends on your connection, which I'll talk about in a second, but Google aims for 4K 60, 4K 60 HDR games, and even 8K at 120 frames per second in the future. So this is really, really impressive. Okay, so will you have to buy this console? Well, not really. Google's plan is for you to be able to access it from pretty much anything, your PC, your Mac, even your phone, your tablet, whatever device you have, you'll be able to access Stadia. All you need is a good internet connection, and that's it. The only hardware that they do sell is actually this controller. They mostly made this for the Chromecast, so if you have a Chromecast, they still want you to be able to access Stadia. It's connected not just to your Wi-Fi network, but also directly to Stadia servers to decrease latency. But probably the coolest feature, and by far the best feature of Stadia, is that it would integrate directly with YouTube. So let's say you watch someone play a game, or someone in live stream, you'll be able to just click a button and jump directly into that game. And even if, let's say, the streamer streams the game in 720p, if your internet connection supports it, you could play the same game, the same level, in 4K 60. Okay, all of this sounds amazing, the future of gaming by far. But you probably have two questions. The first one being the latency, and then the second one is how much would this cost? So in terms of the latency, that has always been an issue with streaming services. From what Google has revealed, it seems to be almost twice as much as on a PC in 60 frames per second. And honestly, that's actually pretty good. Twice the latency as on a PC in 60 frames per second, which is pretty good to begin with. And what's really impressive is that it seems to have the same latency as when you play from an Xbox One X directly locally. So, okay, latency-wise, this is pretty good. However, all of this was done on Google's internal servers and their own Wi-Fi connection, which was really fast. So yes, you do need a really fast Wi-Fi connection. Question is how fast? We don't really know yet because Google hasn't revealed any bandwidth details yet or any pricing details. But realistically, you would need something that's on average about 50 megabits per second. That would be for a stable 1080p connection, and even more than that if you want to do 4K 30 or 60. Again, this is not confirmed, but this would be my guess as to how much bandwidth it would be required for this. Yes, all of this is awesome. Google can literally be the Netflix of gaming. They can definitely do that. They have the budget to do that. It's Google, one of the biggest companies in the world. And I'm definitely certain that they can achieve this. Now, the only problem is that Google is also very well known for killing a lot of their products. They recently killed Google Plus. They recently killed Google Inbox. Remember that? So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about game streaming. Also, let me know what's your internet connection at the moment. It would be really awesome to find out, what's the average connection in terms of, the viewers, you guys. And speaking of games and consoles, the Xbox 2, we have some Xbox 2 leaks, kinda. So there's a new Xbox launching this year, and by this year, I mean in less than 2 months, in May the 7th actually. However, this won't be the Xbox 2, but the Xbox One S, all digital. So all of this got leaked by Windows Central, and they even they made a box render. They have the real box apparently, and a lot of internal documents on this. But the whole idea of the new Xbox is that this is going to be an Xbox One S, all digital, so there's not going to be a disk drive in this thing at all. No more Blu-ray movies or Blu-ray games. You will have to download every single game on the console itself, which means that you will need a lot of storage, right? And yeah, you kind of do. So the console itself comes with 1 terabyte of storage internally, but you can always attach more. You can get external hard drives, even a 4 terabyte one, and automatically have more storage because the Xbox and the PS4 as well, they do support that. Personally, I have a PS4 Pro, and most of my games are actually digital anyways. It's amazing to just jump from one game to another without having to slot in the drive every single time. So that's awesome. Obviously, selling those games is impossible, so that's the main downside. But the weirdest thing about this Xbox is that not only will it be the cheapest and most affordable Xbox ever made apparently, but it would also come bundled with 3 games, so Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon 3. It is a bit weird how it says 4K HDR in the box. Currently the Xbox One S does do 4K HDR videos, obviously not games, so you can watch Netflix in 4K, not games. But since, like I said before, the Xbox One S all digital is said to be the least expensive Xbox, I really don't think that 4K refers to games, just videos. Otherwise, what's the point of the Xbox One X? And Microsoft's also working on their own cloud service for games that's called xCloud for streaming games through PCs, consoles, and mobile devices. So that will launch in 2019 as well. So yeah, basically what Microsoft is trying to do is they're trying to sell as many Xboxes as they can, put Xboxes in as many users' hands as possible so that they can, promote their streaming service once that's out. Speaking of promotion, Samsung actually released the invites for another Galaxy event on April the 10th. So there we go, the Samsung Galaxy 11 is actually coming in about 2 months. Obviously, I'm just joking. And the main event was held on February the 20th. This is where Samsung unveiled the Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, S10e, and the Galaxy Fold. This one seems to be called A Galaxy Event. Pretty obvious clue that this would be focused on their Galaxy A lineup. The whole event will only be held in Bangkok, Milan, and Sao Paulo, and since the main events are held in New York, it's quite obvious that this won't be a main major event. Now, interesting enough, the Samsung Galaxy A8s, this one was actually released in December 2018, that's the latest A lineup phone. This one already comes with an Infinity O display, so yeah, I'm quite curious to see what they'll launch next. Next up, Sony finally ended the production of their PS Vita consoles, which is odd because I honestly thought that those were dead ages ago. So yeah, the PS Vita came out in 2011, 8 years ago. The name, by the way, was horrible in my opinion. PlayStation Portable, the PSP, was such a better name. I'm not saying that the name was the main reason why it failed, but it's one of the reasons. Let me know in the comments if you ever had one. Interesting to see how Sony's PS Vita failed, but the Nintendo Switch seems to be doing quite well. Next up, remember when Huawei was banned in the US, all the smartphones were banned because of the security breaches, and more European countries have actually started doing the same. Well, now Huawei is actually suing the US government. And yeah, I'm really not sure what to say about this. So obviously Huawei was aiming to push 5G in Europe and, the US, and also the US doesn't really want that because they want to use their own hardware, so that could also be a thing. But then at the same time, why, they were actually banned in Europe as well, in a lot of countries. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you think Huawei actually, was spying on their users in Europe and the US, or do you think that this is just a plot to get Huawei and the Chinese manufacturers out of Europe and US? And finally, rest in peace Amazon stores. So I'm not talking about the Amazon walk-in stores, the grocery stores. Those are pretty cool, by the way. You simply walk in, you buy whatever you want, you take from the shelves. You don't even have to pay because everything gets automatically subtracted from your account. So that's awesome. I'm not talking about those, but apparently the smaller gift shop-like stores, those ones that offered Amazon Kindles and some of them even actual books, those stores would be closed all around the world. But yeah, this was pretty much everything that I wanted to mention in the Zone of Tech News episode. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more, episodes like this one, more Zone of Tech News episodes. And, this week has been crazy. We have the Apple event next week, next Monday, so definitely stay tuned for that. We'll have some day one coverage on that. But it's really odd how they start releasing random hardware products this week. So, on Monday we had the iPad Mini 5, the iPad 3, video on that here. Then on Tuesday we had the iMacs, the new 2019 iMacs, and the iMac Pro upgrades. Yes, we got some upgrades on the iMac Pro, video on that here. And then on Wednesday we had the new AirPods. Yeah, the second generation AirPods, video on that here. So yeah, it's really odd. We didn't have anything on Thursday. Today's Friday, so maybe there's going to be something today. I'm looking forward to that. And I don't forget about the AirPods 2 giveaway and the Samsung Galaxy Buds. Once again, just be a subscriber of the channel, follow on Instagram at ZONEofTECH, and then simply comment on this post for the Galaxy Buds, and then this one for the AirPods 2. And I'll be announcing the winners on April the 1st for the Galaxy Buds, and then April the 23rd for the for the AirPods 2. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what else do you want to see covered in Zone of Tech News next week or 2 weeks from now, hopefully. Actually, next week there's the iPad launches, so I'm not sure if we'll be doing Zone of Tech News next week. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Zone of Tech, signing out. Cheers.